Namaste, welcome. This is Thomas for Lighthouse Yoga, Tarot, and Astrology, and for Outcast Astrology. Welcome back. We are looking at Stellarium today. It's Tuesday, February 1st, about 20 minutes after noon in Central Standard Time. We're just outside Chicago here in Evanston, Illinois. And this is a view of the sky. If it was clear, it's cloudy today. But we're looking at Stellarium, and we're able to use this program to get a virtual representation of the sky. And we're going to take off the atmosphere so that we can look at the stars, we can look at the planets. And it's pretty busy today. So, it's been busy. It'll continue to be busy, but we'll look at what all of this busyness means. But again, if you're new to this program, I like to leave up these cardinal points, the south, southwest, southeast, east, all those markers. And that gives us a general idea about where the horizon is as we kind of jump around. I am going to take off the ground cover, and that way we can look all around. And just a basic tour of some of our tools down here, we can pull up the constellation art, and that gives us a nice imagery to look at and a general sense about the constellations and their boundaries. We can always look and get more exact with that. If you're really new and you're looking around at some of the other constellations other than the 12 of the zodiac, you can pull up the labels and get a lot from that, like just to study this. And then you can also pull up the constellation lines, and this is kind of a connect the dots version. And if you pull the art away, you're just looking at the constellation lines, and this is a great way to learn them for yourself in the night sky. Go over to Orion and start there, and you'll see something recognizable, especially in the winter sky like we have right now. But we'll pull off the lines and put the artwork back up. All right, and the big excitement recently was we just had the new moon. Excitement, I don't know if that's worthy. In this program, it's got something to say for every part of the sky, so it pulls up all this data pretty much wherever you click. So sometimes when I'm scrolling around it'll pull up all this data on the side. You can use that when you're looking at the planets, but it gets a little distracting. So Monday night, this was just last night on the 31st of January at 11 o'clock 46 minutes my time, so that was Central Standard Time. Just before midnight we had the new moon in Capricorn, and many people are going to have this in Aquarius, right? And this is another little, I guess, disclaimer I want to make right here at the outset. Again, if you're new here, we're looking at in this program the actual location of the stars, the planets, the sun and the moon. So the sun currently is in Capricorn. If you were to do this in an actual sky, you were able to remove the atmosphere, you'd see the sun right there near Saturn and the moon in Capricorn. The Western astrology, tropical astrology, pushes this forward about a full sign. So that's why most astrology you're going to see is going to have that new moon in Aquarius, right? But we're looking at the moon in Capricorn, conjunct the sun, right? That's always a new moon, and there with Saturn. So this new moon is about structure and authority and starting a new cycle, right? And this is really, really important to see that, because Saturn is in its home sign of Capricorn, right? It's cardinal Earth, right? And this is setting, in some ways, new foundation. So let this be your proper new year. A lot of people do New Year's resolutions on January 1st. If you're gonna start a project, if you're gonna initiate something, now is a fairly good time to lay that groundwork, right? This month, right, as we start going through this moon, and if you're watching this after the new moon, it's okay. The new moon is that energy continues for several days on either side of the exact conjunction. So give yourself a little bit of slack and allow yourself to catch the wave. It's still there for you to ride. The other big news, and this is, another feature of this program, is that you can go back and forth in time. So we'll go over here. It's kind of a hidden sidebar. You go over here and it'll pop up, and there's a date and time window. And what we're going to look at right now is Venus. And I'm going to highlight Venus over here. We got Venus in Sagittarius, and we're gonna back this up just a couple of days. So right now we can look at this date and time bar, and we're gonna slide back one to right about here, noon on the 28th, into the 29th. Venus was stationing direct, and this is the spot that Mars is going to be coming up to next week. And I'll tie all this together in just a moment, right? But as we backed up, right, the moon was going to cross this space of Mars and Venus. Don't forget Pluto is in here too, right? And Pluto's a big deal now because we're coming up on this Pluto return for the United States, and a lot of people are talking about the significance of that Pluto return for the birth and the birth chart of the United States, and certain changes that signifies. But I really think, again, because Pluto moves so slowly, this is a much longer term, much longer effect. And again, just like I mentioned, the moon on either side of the sun, it's kind of a few days before it reaches the sun, a couple days after it's past the sun, right? There's all that new moon energy. Same thing, right? Because Pluto moves so slowly, it's like a couple years before the exact return or the exact conjunction or whatever you're looking at with regard to Pluto. So that energy kind of comes in, it does reach a peak or a crescendo, and then it fades, but the influence, we could say, is apparent and there when you look for it for some time before and some time after the exact conjunction. Just something to keep in mind as we look at all the relationships, all the conjunctions, all the planets, and how they move and how they cycle together. So back to this Venus at 11 degrees, right? So this was 11 degrees on the Western chart. We would probably say this is about midway through Sagittarius. We're looking probably 15, 16 degrees of Sagittarius. The other piece now that I want to tie in here, and I'm going to set this aside for just a moment, and we're going to spin around to the other side of the zodiac. So don't forget, this Venus is over here in Sagittarius. This is a fire sign, right? Sagittarius is mutable fire. And that 11 degrees of that sign. Now over here in another fire sign is Uranus. Uranus is in cardinal fire, Aries. Right? So this Uranus in cardinal fire. Uranus right now, again, Western tradition, it's going to be about 10, 11 degrees. We're looking again about 14, 15 degrees, somewhere in the middle of that sign. Now Uranus is going to be creeping up slowly over the next few days. We're going to come back to our date and time window, and we're going to bring this forward. Now, remember, this is on the 20th. This is where Venus stationed. And, you can think about what was going on this day, the 28th, kind of the energy of that day. And coming up on the 8th to 9th, right? So we're creeping up here. 7th, so we have moon conjunct Uranus on the 7th, which is significant, I think, because that moon energy is going to combine with what's coming up just the next day, right? The 8th and the 9th. Uranus is going to reach this point here, and what's important about that is that if we go back to Sagittarius, Mars will have reached its same point in Sagittarius. So Mars is going to be in a trine with Uranus. Venus will be a little bit ahead of that. It's going to continue to move forward slowly, but it's going to start to move forward as Mars really starts to pick up speed. So on this day, we're going to have pretty much Mars conjunct Venus. Mercury is going to be conjunct Pluto, right? And we're going to have this this amazing trine with Mars and Uranus in the fire signs. So this is going to be a big day of moving forward, right? There's going to be a lot of energy here waiting to bust out, right? Mars, mutable fire. It's not the best place for Mars, let's say, but Mars is at home in fire. It's not so excited about being in a mutable spot, but certainly not being afflicted here in Sagittarius. Mars is perfectly capable and making something out of that mutable nature of Sagittarius, right? So this is going to be a pretty interesting time. This is just the beginning of next week, and you know, it feels like every time there's a significant conjunction, there's a significant aspect. I always end up urging caution. I always end up urging, take your time, don't make any quick decisions, be cautious. This is one of those times where I would say, if there's a way to harness that energy, by all means do it. One of the benefits of our astrology practice is that we can look ahead to things like this, and we can say, okay, I'm going to need a sail. And if I'm going to catch that wind, if I'm going to ride that wave, I'm going to need a boat or a surfboard or something. I'm going to need something to catch that energy and make use of it. And I can start preparing now for that. So, start building your sail, start building your boat so you can catch this wave next week, because this is going to be the energy that's going to be running through. Mars and Uranus, both, we could say, explosive, right? And using that word, it's always a little bit dangerous, but the sprinter on the starting block, the unexpected made manifest, right? And this is an exciting time, right? Of course, the sun will be moving through Capricorn. This is going to be a wonderful time when the sun goes into Aquarius. Let's see when that happens exactly here. So one of the ways we can pull up here are the constellation lines here. Oh no, excuse me. We're going to highlight the sun. And let's go through again our date and time. And here we are already on the 9th of February, and we'll watch when Capricorn travels properly into Aquarius, right there on the 16th, right? So Sun enters Aquarius mid-month, right, just after Valentine's Day. And speaking of Valentine's Day, this is a nice way to end this video. All right, on the 25th, so this is always a challenging visual, and it's good to challenge ourselves in this way. Venus and Mars, right, are on the 14th, and I'm going to consult my ephemeris here. So Venus on the 14th is at 15 degrees, and Mars is at 15 degrees. Right? And this is where really they catch up to each other. And it's a beautiful thing, right? So right here on Valentine's Day, I didn't even realize this was exactly on Valentine's Day. So that's why I'm chuckling. I don't know what I was looking at when I was adjusting this, but yeah, Mars catches up to Venus exactly on Valentine's Day. So this is a dance that is so neat to watch, right? Let's go back. Here we are. Sorry, that's on the 31st. Here's today, the 1st, right? Venus, again, remember, stationed direct at 11 degrees on the 28th, and it's going forward. And it's going to look like Mars is going to catch up to Venus almost, right? And again, you have to look at the ephemeris to look at the exact degrees. That was perfect timing. And they're coming up, and they're almost together, right? Again, you have to look at the ephemeris because it's so close in degrees. But here is right now where they conjoin, right? They're crossing over their respective degrees, and what's going to happen is that Mars almost overtakes Venus, right? But then, they will run together for quite a while. And this is such a beautiful thing. Look at this. Venus and Mars are like lockstep. Almost the whole month, right? Right here, Venus starts to take the lead. And this is actually a really beautiful thing. It's almost like Venus is ferrying Mars from Sagittarius into Capricorn. It's so great. And then when Mars gets into Capricorn, Mars comes into Capricorn. Let's back this up. Just a couple days, more than a couple days. Right? Mars enters Capricorn on the 6th, right? And Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Mars gets to get things done. Capricorn is like Mars's preferred teacher, right? Capricorn is Mars's preferred master. Mars trusts Capricorn better than anybody else, and Mars will do whatever Capricorn needs it to do. Right? Capricorn says, "Get this done." Mars is more than happy to comply. I had a boss like that one time. This person, I would have, worked 12 hours straight for this person. He was the greatest boss I've ever had. I trusted him always. He knew exactly what to do, whenever to do it. He had the most knowledge of anybody I've ever met. And he had a list of things for us to do every day. And, that list was never ending. And everything happened in great time. We never rushed, never hurried, never felt like we were under a deadline, ever. It was amazing. I would give a lot for another boss like that. So that's Mars in Capricorn. That's Mars in Capricorn. All right. So this video, I am sure, is plenty long. I hope that has given you some food for thought. As always, take what works for you. Please leave the rest. There's never any absolutes. This whole beautiful zodiac and all the planets, it's cycles within cycles. It's hours and minutes within minutes, and it's never ending, and it's so complex. So we see certain things, we notice certain alignments, but there are always a million factors at play. So nothing is set in stone. That's why we can think better about using energy and taking hold of opportunities when they present themselves. But never are we forced or at the mercy of what's happening, right? We maintain our free will. We maintain our power of perception, of discernment, and of choice. All right. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Please comment, please like, subscribe, share the videos, and I'll see you next time.